Sawasdee good morning and welcome to Newsline. Today is Friday, January 3rd, 2014. You're with me, Surapan Lautaranarit. In today's top stories, military commanders have expressed their disagreement with the government over its planned imposition of the emergency decree. And in business news, Thailand's inflation rate in 2013 was recorded at 2.18% on average. Now let's take a look at today's headlines. Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra visited the Metropolitan Police Bureau to deliver speeches, giving the law enforcers New Year blessings and morale boost. Attending the ceremony were Metropolitan Police Bureau Chief Police Lieutenant General Kamronwit Thupkrachang, his deputies, and 300 police officers from Kamphaeng Phet, Lampang, Kanchanaburi, and Ratchaburi provinces. Ms. Yingluck praised the police for being able to keep the peace of late and looking after the Thai people. She then wished for their health, wealth, and success for their future endeavors. She also reportedly mingled with the troops casually before being sent off warmly. The government is asking the protesters not to block roads, as such a move is not the correct way of exercising democratic rights. In the wake of the planned Bangkok shutdown by the People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC, Prime Minister's Office Minister Warathep Ratanakon has urged the PDRC not to block roads or cause any disturbances to the general public, adding that shutting down the capital was not the right way to express oneself in a democratic country. The minister also believed that the objective of the January 13th capital shutdown was to instigate violence and create disturbances. He also pointed out that an election was the most possible and practical way for people to exercise their rights and was accepted by the international community. The general election has been scheduled for February 2nd. As of now, a total of 1,272 MP candidates have already registered for the election in 347 constituencies. Labour Minister Chalem Yubamrung has suggested the formation of the Reform Council that comprises 99 members to monitor and push forward the political reformation. The suggestion came during the recent meeting of the Center for the Administration of Peace and Order, or CAPO. The Labour Minister explained that the 99 members of the council he proposed should comprise representatives selected by the Election Commission from each province, and the rest should be experts from related fields. According to him, the council will be tasked with drafting a constitution amendment bill and conducting a public referendum on the draft. Minister Chalem stressed that his approach could be done side by side with the general election. Military commanders have expressed their disagreement with the government over its planned imposition of the emergency decree during a mass protest in Bangkok on January 13th, saying the Internal Security Act, or ISA, should be enough to ensure order. Supreme Commander General Thanasak Patimaprakon had a meeting with the commanders of the three armed forces, the Permanent Secretary for Defense, and the National Police Chief to follow up the political situation. The meeting was called ahead of the People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC's mobile rallies in Bangkok during January 5th to 8th and the planned shutdown of the capital on January 13th. On this occasion, Secretary General of the National Security Council, or NSC, Lieutenant General Paradon Patanatabut, was invited to brief the attendants on intelligence reports and clarify the government's measures for dealing with the upcoming protests, particularly the enforcement of the emergency decree in the capital. The military commanders reportedly made a consensus that the emergency decree would be uncalled for, viewing the ISA, which is currently in effect, as a sufficient tool to keep the situation under control. The top brass indicated that there were already adequate police forces, but the tactics and positioning of officers would need to be adjusted. From now on, the military will send out reinforcements to work alongside the police for higher efficiency. However, Lieutenant General Paradon reported to the meeting that the government would not hesitate to activate the emergency decree if the protests turn violent. He expressed concerns over possible clashes between the PDRC and other groups with differing political viewpoints. The Ministry of Public Health is preparing medical personnel for duty during January 5th to 8th when the People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC, will stage another round of mobile protests across Bangkok. Permanent Secretary for Public Health Narong Sahamethapat stated that the ministry had called a meeting with the center responsible for preventing public health disasters to discuss preparations for the PDRC's rallies throughout the capital from January 5th to 8th. At the meeting, hospitals under the supervision of the Department of Medical Services were instructed to prepare medical staff to cooperate with the Erawan Emergency Center and medical volunteers in providing care for those in need during the activities. In case of emergency, more than 30 medical teams from provinces adjacent to Bangkok are to be deployed to work with the Ruam Katanyu Foundation and the Paw Tek Tung Foundation in the delivery of patients to the nearest hospitals. In addition, Ramathibodi Hospital, Lertsin Hospital, and Noparat Ratchathani Hospital will each provide 2 advanced rescue teams, while more rescue officials will be stationed in the perimeter of the protest sites where violence tends to occur. National Police Chief Adun Sang Singkeo has admitted that the men clad in black seen during clashes between anti-government protesters and police at the Thai-Japanese sports stadium are police officers. The admission came after videos of men in black have been circulating on YouTube, sparking fierce debates in the online community. The 2 men were spotted on the rooftop of the Labor Ministry near the sports stadium, which was the venue of MP candidacy registration on December 26th. The men who smashed cars in Dindang on the same day were also confirmed to be policemen. Anti-government protest leader Suthep Thueksuban had earlier told supporters during a speech at the Democracy Monument that these men who fired into the protest area from the top of the ministry building were not civilians but well-trained officers. Police General Adun said an in-depth investigation into the incidents is being launched, and those found breaking the law will face disciplinary action. A formal press conference will be held later to inform the public about the details of the incidents. The Internal Security Operations Command, or ISOC, Region 4 Forward Command, revealed that 5,926 people have perished in the southern unrest since 2004. In a summary of casualty figures resulting from the southern violence, ISOC revealed that 15,192 violent incidents occurred in the southern border provinces from January 4, 2004 until December 31, 2013. Of this number, 10,662 events were categorized as unrest incidents. 1,507 events were categorized as criminal activities. Of the 5,926 fatalities in total, 3,461 were Muslims and 2,431 were Buddhists. A total of 10,593 people suffered injuries from the incidents over the 10 years. 5,782 of the wounded were civilians. 4,399 state officials, such as policemen, soldiers, and local government officials, became casualties of the unrest. Of this figure, 811 were fatalities. The Center for Economic and Business Forecasting, or CBF, of the University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce has highlighted the importance of having more special economic zones in border provinces, citing numerous benefits. CBF Director Thanawat Phonvichai revealed that there were 3 border provinces considered to have the highest potentials and readiness for the establishment of new special economic zones. They comprise Tak and Chiang Rai in the north and Sa Kaeo in the northeast. He insisted that the economic zones would be beneficial to the three provinces, where transport systems had been upgraded and border trade activities were high. Mr. Thanawat said the emergence of industrial factories in the border economic zones would attract migrant workers from neighboring countries and in turn prevent their concentration in big cities. Investors putting their money into such factories would also enjoy tax privileges and exemptions. As a result, further growth would be seen in border trade, lending support for Thailand's integration into the ASEAN economic community in the near future. According to the director, setting up a border economic zone usually requires cooperation from countries on both sides of the border in order to achieve mutual benefits. And that's all for our first segment. We'll take a short break now, and coming up next, Thai stocks yesterday suffered their biggest loss since September 2011. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติและมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back, and now moving on to the business front. The Ministry of Commerce has reported that Thailand's inflation rate in 2013 was 2.18% on average, and forecasts that next year's rate will stay between 2 and 2.8%. The 2014 inflation rate might increase by another 1% if the diesel excise tax reduction is cancelled. Permanent Secretary for Commerce Sirat Rathapana said Consumer Price Index, or CPI, in December 2013 was 106.01, increasing by 0.14% from November 2013 and 1.67% from the same period last year. Core CPI was at 103.64, increasing by 0.1% from November 2013 and 0.91% from the same period last year. The average CPI and core CPI in 2013 rose 2.18% and 1% respectively. Regarding the tendency of the 2014 inflation rate, the official said the inflation rate would move between 2 and 2.8%, based on the assumptions that the Thai GDP growth rate was 3 to 5%. The average Dubai crude oil price was $92 to $115 per barrel. The baht value was 28 to 34 baht to the US dollar, and the government continued its assistance measures for low-income people. Ms. Sirat added that if the government canceled the diesel excise tax reduction policy this year, the domestic retail price of diesel would increase, and the inflation rate would rise 1% above target. The inflation rate this year would increase by 1.3 to 1.4% above target, but would not exceed 4% if the government called off assistance measures such as free bus and train services, as well as the gradual increase of cooking gas price. The Federation of Thai Industries, or FTI, has forecast that the global economic recovery will benefit the Thai economy in 2014, while the country's political problems will pose a negative impact on it. The automotive industry is expected to grow well despite a sales drop in 2013 after the government's car tax rebate scheme expired. Car exports, on the other hand, increased last year, especially in the markets in ASEAN, Australia, New Zealand, the Middle East, and South America. In 2014, the country's car production has been projected to exceed 2.55 million units. Another industry expected to improve in 2014 is food. Higher export growth of 5 to 7% has been projected, following increasing global food consumption and rising demands for Thai food in ASEAN and the Middle East, Thailand's new export markets. The FTI also foresaw that the shipbuilding and repairing industry would recover this year, in line with the global economy and higher investment in oil drilling. The launch of the AEC will be another positive factor for Thai exports in 2014, especially exports of electrical appliances and electronics, as well as furniture. Thai stocks suffered their biggest loss since September 2011 on Thursday, as escalating domestic protests against February's second election triggered heavy sell-offs in large caps, while Philippine stocks rallied on their first trading day of 2014 due to fund inflows. Thai Set Index closed down 5.2% at 1,230.77, the lowest close since August 2012. With market players loading off shares after the benchmark sliding below key technical support of 1,260. Among bottom performers, shares of airport operator Airports of Thailand Public Company Limited shed 7.6%, while shares of Siam Commercial Bank Public Company Limited dropped 8.4%. According to CIMB Securities, technical indicators pointed to a further slide in the main index to 1,200 level, with market concerns remaining over the ongoing political problems. Thai baht lost for a 10th straight day against the US dollar. Philippine index climbed 1.6% to 5,984.26, the highest close since December 9th, led by a 7.4% jump in shares of First Gen Corp. The Philippine bourse reported a net foreign buying of $8.9 million. Other markets ended mixed, with profit booking weighing on Malaysia and Vietnam, the region's outperformers last year. And before we take another quick break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices. Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติและมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลัง ชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back once again to Newsline. Nakhon Ratchasima continues to hold the record as province with the highest death toll during the dangerous week, while the nationwide figure on the 6th day edged up to 334. The Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Department's Road Safety Operations Center reported that on the first day of 2014, a total of 68 people were killed and 539 injured in 536 accidents. The death toll is a slight drop from last year's number. Wednesday's fatal accidents increased the nationwide toll to 334 killed and 3,041 injured in 2,891 accidents. Drunk driving and speeding remain the major causes of accidents during the 7 dangerous days. Nakhon Ratchasima saw 21 road accident-related deaths, and a whopping 121 people were injured during accidents in Nakhon Sawan. The provinces were ranked top on the lists of deaths and injuries, respectively. 8 provinces that saw no traffic-related deaths include Mae Hong Son in the north, Trat in the east, Phang Nga and Pattani in the south, Bungkan and Yasothon in the northeast, and Chainat and Samut Songkhram in the central region. Chiang Mai Zoo veterinarians confirmed on Thursday Lin Hui the panda was 91 days pregnant after an artificial insemination last year proved successful. Veterinarians said ultrasound imaging clearly showed a 7-centimeter-long embryo attached to the uterus wall. Although the vertebrate can be seen, veterinarians have yet to detect heartbeats from the embryo. They said Lin Hui may go into labor at any time, as her previous offspring Lin Ping was born after just 97 days of gestation. Zoo officials said Lin Hui has already started making a den. With her hormone level declining, Lin Hui was nearing delivery. Zoo officials have already prepared a delivery room that would allow them to easily retrieve the panda cub and inspect its health. For the moment, they were giving Lin Hui extra vitamins and letting her walk around. The veterinarian said the panda was not stressed or anxious. Zoo officials believe the baby panda will be delivered by the middle of this month. They also believe Lin Hui would be able to care for her second cub after having successfully cared for Lin Ping. And that's a wrap for today's edition of Newsline. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. And now we're going to say goodbye with Hmong's traditional way to celebrate New Year. I'm Suraphat Lautharanarit. Thank you for joining us. สวัสดีครับ